Legacy Maker, the All Sports
The
Network.
place is here and the time is now. Let's take it round for round. And people gather round. Let's see who can win the crown. All the marbles involved. Football, baseball, or golf. Who's dominating the hoops? Who's talking false or the truth? Yeah, come and show me your war face. I'll show you my war face. No holds barred, so for your sake, you better show up in good shape. Valuable information is key to your domination. So focus on preparation. Online is your reputation. Hands one-on-one. You and me, ain't no fear in me. You will see. When it comes to this, you'll be wearing the number 23. In debate, I hold my weight, cause these sports I'm attached to it. Your legacy, get ready, cause I'm gonna set a match to it. Hey. Burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire. Fire, 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 burn 'em. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
This week's panel: Jay Quimby, Cody Stewart, Russ Taliaferro, and Michael Bish.
Welcome, everybody. It is your man, Darrell Owens, and we are here for another edition of Legacy on Fire. That's right, episode 29. It's been about a month and a half since we've been able to grace you all with our presence. I know that sounds a little bit arrogant, but why not? It's glad to have you all back here, and I got an esteemed panel with me today, and it's going to be a fun one. We can't wait to bring the heat to you today. First of all, let me go ahead and get our introductions in. He is the man, myth, and the absolute legend. He is a co-founder of the Legacy Maker Sports Network, as well as the co-host of the Legacy Maker Sports Podcast, Mr. Jeremiah Quimby. What's up, Jay?
Not much. Just chilling. Good to see everybody, especially a face we haven't seen in eons.
Eons. Speaking of that face that we haven't seen in eons, we got a gentleman with us, the newcomer here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. He's a newcomer, but he's not really a newcomer. We've known this man for a long time. Fox Sports, you name it. He's done a little bit of everything. Netflix Lights. He's got his hands dibbled in a little bit of everything. Our man, Mr. Michael Bish. What's up, Mike?
What's up, guys? Good to be here. Very good to be here. I'll tell you what, it's good to be on a panel with Cody again. Easy dubs coming my way. I'm disappointed. I'm disappointed to not see my man Rob on here, but
that's coming
in due time.
No, it's good, man. I'm glad to be on the team, man.
He got to pay that electric bill.
What's up, Rob?
We all know he's off working somewhere.
Darrell, we can't hear you saying anything.
I saw him say Cody Stewart. What's up, y'all? I'm here. I'm ready to get into it. Ready to talk some everything. All right. And I'm super hyped right now, if you can't tell, because my Rangers moved on to the second round of the playoffs. Let's go, baby.
Watch out for the Rangers. Hey, a great game, too, by the way, against the Penguins. And it was just dramatic as it possibly could be, but the Rangers move on. And then, of course, the man, our resident stat man, ladies and gentlemen, does a little bit of everything. Articles, graphics, I can go on and on. Stat man himself, Mr. Russ Taliaferro. How you doing, Russ?
What up, bro? Everybody else that's not an Eagles fan. Buying trash jersey. To be honest, I've been wanting to buy Eagles jersey for the last couple of years, but only one player in particular who doesn't even play for the team anymore.
Oh boy, I'm gonna let that one fly. All right, everybody. Once again, thank you.
Is it James Bradbury?
Oh no!
Hey, Jay, shut your mouth.
Well, look, everybody, we're gonna get this party started, and before we get into the NFL, we got to talk a little bit of NBA. The NBA finals, conference finals, are underway. Starting last night, the Miami Heat were able to get a victory over the Boston Celtics, winning 118-107. And then tonight we've got the Warriors taking on the Mavericks. That one will be heading out. That one will be starting up in Oakland. So I want to start off 1 minute apiece from everybody, trying to figure out where everybody's predictions are for the conference finals. And we're going to start this one, of course, with Mike. What are your thoughts here, Mike, on the conference final? What are your predictions?
Well, the Eastern Conference one is definitely tricky. Obviously, you have two key pieces for the Boston Celtics that are out right now with Marcus Smart and Al Horford, and those are two big pieces that are missing. But for the Eastern Conference, man, it all depends on their health and when they come back. For me, but for right now, I'm going to set it in stone, man. I'm taking the Heat in 7. I'm taking the Heat in 7. I don't know how long those two are going to be out. And honestly, if they were healthy, I'd probably change my pick. You said we're going to the Western Conference too? Or
Yeah,
just
go ahead. You knock out the
Western Conference, man. I'm going. I'm pretty confident in this. Luka Doncic is going to get his numbers. I think he's going to drop 35 to 40, almost every game. I don't. He's nobody on the Warriors are going to be able to stop him, in my opinion. But I'm going to have to roll with the Warriors, man. I'm going to go Warriors in 6.
Warriors in 6. All right, so we got a Warriors and Miami Heat finals from Mr. Mike Bish. Statman, where are you going here? What are your predictions for the conference finals?
Most of mine are going to be the same, except for shorter games. I don't think we're going to see 7 games in either one of these series. I am going with the Heat mostly because of what Mike already said. The 2 injuries, especially Marcus Smart, whether he deserved Defensive Player of the Year or not, that's not what you're asking me, so I'm not going to answer. But his presence makes a difference, and especially if Jimmy Butler can be as efficient as he was last night, 12 from 19 from the field, scoring 40 points off less than 20 shots, that's going to make a huge difference for them. In Al Horford, even if he couldn't contend with Adebayo down low, just his body there would make a difference. I think the Heat are going to get this in 6 or less. And then as far as the other side, yeah, Luka is going to get his points, but Steph, Clay, and everybody else are going to get theirs too. There's more of a scoring presence on the Warriors for me, especially this deep in the playoffs. They've done it before. They've been there before. Luka's still new to this deep level in the playoffs, and the Warriors, I think, are going to get it in 5 possibly.
All right. Right, making it right before the buzzer there. Jay, what are your thoughts here, my man? Where do you see this conference finals, and where do you see the predictions going there?
Well, I agree with what Bish had to say. Miami in 7. Those 2 guys missing. Smart might make it back, but I don't see Horford coming back at all. Which I know for you is exciting, but it's going to be great. Your team will maybe in another chance to win something and lose it, but that's for later talk. And then on the other side, Klay Thompson said it. Almost 3 years ago? It's championship or bust. They are scoring from every angle with the Warriors. Watching what they did to the Bucks, I was just like, huh? No, I'm kidding. You're not even listening to me, Darrell. I'm looking at you. You're looking down. But no, I definitely see the Warriors going against the Heat in this.
I'm listening to you, Jay. I'm listening
to you.
No,
you were looking down.
I can look down. I can look down for a second.
What's up with your guy Hero doing his stuff?
We'll figure it out. Give Tyler some time. Okay, he's not the creator, but he's the hero. Cody, what do you got going on here? What are your predictions here for the conference finals?
Yeah, I'll start in the West because I do believe that's the easiest to decide. I really honestly feel that the Grizzlies would have been the Grizzlies versus the Warriors should have been a Western Conference Finals matchup. It was nice to see what the Mavericks were able to do last series against the Suns, but we also know that the Suns, with having CP3, this is no shot at him. We know CP3 and he chokes a little in the playoffs. All right, let's just say that. So it doesn't really surprise me. But I mean, Luka, like y'all have been saying, he's going to get his, no doubt about it. But there's nobody else on that Mavericks team that's going to be able to step up. You're not going to see Spencer Dinwiddie score 30 points again. Jalen Brunson might give you some games here or there, but not enough firepower. I got the Warriors winning that in 5. And then over to the Eastern Conference, I'm going to stick with what I had when the matchups were set, okay? Not after seeing last night's game. I'm going to go with what I had before right when the matchup was set. I'm going with the Celtics in 7. I just feel like Brown and Tatum, they can get it together and do what they need to do to get past Miami. Wow. I had 1 second on the clock.
No, Cody, who do you have?
No, I got Celtics versus Warriors.
Celtics and the Warriors. No shade there, I promise.
Yeah,
well,
okay.
And I'll go real quick. Of course, I said midseason. I had Miami and I had the Warriors. So far, so good. I'm gonna leave it at that. But I know a lot of Celtics fans are screaming, Celtic Nation. So we'll see how that goes. Lex, let's talk a little bit more NBA before we swing to our other topics. And this one is kind of a huge one because earlier this week there was something that came out that said that Phil Jackson thinks that the Lakers should trade LeBron James and keep Russell Westbrook. And I'm very intrigued here to see where you guys think about this topic here because I'll be honest with you, I'm not 100% mad. This is a true statement. I'm not 100% mad at this. It sounds crazy, but I'm just intrigued to see what you guys got to say about it. Cody, I'm going to let you go first. What are your thoughts on this one?
This is tough. And the reason I say that is because we know LeBron is one of the top players in the league. He's been that way for the past decade plus. But we don't know what the value for LeBron James is. And I'm not saying that like a team can't get, 5 first-round picks or whatever. We just don't know. You have to factor the age. He's going to be 38 this upcoming season. We don't know how much longer he's going to play. I know that he wants to play with Bronny, but we don't know what's really going to happen. So do you really see a team ready to give up 5-6 future first-round picks to get LeBron for 2 to 3 seasons? Maybe a team that wants to fill some seats in their arena, possibly. We know LeBron will be able to go to another team and he'll be able to put up numbers because I do want to say this. LeBron James, his 19th season was this past season. 30 points a game, second highest in his career. 8.2 rebounds a game, fourth highest in his career. Shooting 62% with 2-point field goals. That's fourth highest in his career. Dude is still playing at an all-time level. I just don't think the Lakers can trade him.
Jay, what are your thoughts on this one, man? LeBron, should he be traded from LA? Do you think the Lakers should act upon this crazy, and some people say crazy act here by Phil Jackson? Is it treason by Phil Jackson?
I think they just need to completely redo it. I mean, they brought LeBron in because to win championships. It's not happening. You tear it down. You trade one, you trade both. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. You get rid of clean slate, get 25 picks, and then, trust the process, as the 76ers would say.
For real?
Mike, I'm not going to say I felt like that was a shot, but I'm going to go in and go to you next, Mike.
Now, time out. I don't. The only team I remember besides the Eagles is that Bish is a Michigan fan, so I didn't mean that at you, Mike. I promise.
After this football season, I'd be mad at me too.
All right, Mike. What do you got on this one? What do you think?
1 in 10 years. I got you.
Take it where we can get it.
There you go.
For me, I think it's blasphemous, to be honest with you. I mean, you think about the what Phil Jackson proposed or what he supposedly proposed to begin with. That's trade LeBron and keep Russell Westbrook. I mean, it's no secret that if you keep Russell Westbrook, you're not really going to win a whole lot of nothing. So if the Lakers want to win, that should not be the case. I think, honestly, they should get rid of Westbrook. And if you want to trade one of the big two, LeBron's just too valuable to trade. And like Cody said, you don't know what his value is. I would trade Anthony Davis before I would LeBron James. I mean, you brought in Anthony Davis to take over and be the face of the franchise when LeBron leaves. Well, he's not even there. He's just always hurt. I say LeBron still has the window to win championships. You trade Anthony Davis, you bring in assets, maybe get another superstar in there. Who wouldn't want to come to LA to begin with, and who wouldn't want to come play with LeBron right now? That's what I would do. I definitely wouldn't keep Russell Westbrook. I definitely wouldn't trade LeBron James. I would trade Anthony Davis before that because LeBron can still win you a championship.
All right. Russ, what are your thoughts on this one, man? Should the Lakers trade LeBron or we're just all delusional here?
I think everyone's fucking delusional. Excuse my language. But it's crazy to think that we're even like considering this a little bit. But there's good things to both sides. Like you trade LeBron, one, they're going to get a crap load back in anything, whatever they get, because they're getting at least 2 to 3 first round picks, no matter how old LeBron is, just because of the stats he's still averaging. And the team that actually trades that, what do the owners love more than anything else? the ability to make more money. You're going to make a lot more money when you have LeBron James playing on your team, no matter what age he is. Especially if you add the fact that he could possibly be playing with his son at the same time. That's just more money on top of more money on top of yet more money.
Say, I'm sorry, Drew. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. And I mean, but since he brought it up, Bish saying Anthony Davis, I think he's the hardest one of the three right now to trade because of his injury because of his injuries the last couple of years. I think, yes, he does make the most sense to trade to me, but he's the hardest one to trade.
I gave you a couple of seconds, but I did interrupt you. I will say this. I look at the situation, and Jay, I kind of agree with you. I think you not maybe yet, but maybe next year you might have to try to break it all up. Because let's be honest, do we really know if Bronny's going to make it to the NBA right off the bat? I mean, like, he's not tearing it up. I mean, he's good. Don't get me wrong. But I mean, to me, he's at least a really good college player for a couple of years. We gotta really truly see. I don't know if we're ready to see Bronny. I mean, I know his dad could probably force it to happen, but
I'm about to say, if LeBron walks into that GM's office and said, "I want you to draft my son," they're gonna draft his son.
So just to go ahead and throw it out there, Oklahoma City Thunder, $9 million.
Hey, Darrell.
Yeah, what's up, Cody?
I want to pose one question. I just want to see your hands raised if you agree or not. They got rid of Brandon Ingram, Josh Hart, Lonzo Ball, Montrezl Harrell, Kyle Kuzma, and a lot of first-round picks to get Russell Westbrook and Anthony Davis. Is the team better with the players that they traded away or with what they have now? Hands up if you think they're better with what they traded away.
I mean,
all right. I just wanted to see what y'all had to say.
It's just tough. It's just tough because I think they're better, but you can't be totally mad at it because they got a championship out of it.
Mickey Mouse championship. So
they get a championship out of it. That's the thing.
Okay, Pat Bev.
I'm just saying.
Man, Chris Paul.
I don't think that was Pat Bev. Yeah, I'm just saying. Y'all might have some history going back a couple of years like those two, but I don't think that was a Pat Bev comment just yet.
Yeah, my man was hot. It's been a very interesting couple of days. We're coming from Pat Beverly, man.
They're bringing them back. ESPN's eating up them ratings.
They're gonna be like, "Come on in, we need some."
Notice one thing: how they didn't put Pat Bev and Matt Barnes in the same studio at the same time.
Probably a good move.
I'm just gonna say, just notice that. Yeah. Notice that.
Probably a good move. All right, we move to the next one, ladies and gentlemen, and all I can say is, woo! Ladies and gentlemen, the Nature Boy Ric Flair, 73 years old, if I'm not mistaken here. 73 years old. Ric Flair is planning on making his return to the ring in July, I believe. I think it was the end of July 3rd, or it's right after SummerSlam is one of the shows or whatnot. Ladies and gentlemen here, I got to know from the fellas, man, your thoughts on the Ric Flair returning to the ring. Russ, I want to go with you first, man. The Nature Boy, we saw a little bit of action with Jay Lethal, man. What are your thoughts on this?
Every couple of weeks, I'm like, Vince McMahon makes the dumbest booking decision of all time. And then I hear this, and I'm like, this is the dumbest thing that could happen all freaking year right now. Like, the man's health issues over the last couple of years, I think anyone who's paid attention to wrestling knows what his health has been the last couple of years. It's been worse. It's been worse than dirt. He's 73 years old, like you said. And personally, even without bringing all that other stuff in, I hate people that do retirement matches and then go back on their word. That's why I'm still a little bit mad at Shawn Michaels, especially with Shawn Michaels, the way he ended against Undertaker. That was absolutely perfect. But Ric Flair, and if I'm going to bring him into it, speaking of Shawn Michaels, Ric Flair against Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 24, I'm mad at him about that, going to TNA after that, even though he admitted that was a mistake. It's the worst. It's the dumbest thing I've heard all year, honest to God. It really is. I want to curse so freaking bad right now. And I'm trying to hold myself. I've already said one curse word today.
It's not the dumbest thing you've heard all year. You can't say that. Gas at 450 a gallon's dumb.
So, Jay, I'm going to go to you now. Jay, Ric Flair making his in-ring return, man. I mean, now I know you're much more of an old-school wrestling type of fan. What are your thoughts on this, man?
I've loved old Ric Flair, but not old man Ric Flair. He needs to just stay retired. You said you were going to do it. He's literally 3 years younger than Vince McMahon, who is, somehow still alive. I don't know who he sold his soul to, but he should be dead by now. No offense, but damn.
Especially after taking that stunner at WrestleMania.
I'm about to say you and every wrestling fan. That's it.
He just, it's not. No, I mean, I met. He's a dick. You couldn't even get a picture of him at a bar in a hotel without paying him $25.
Hey man, capitalizing off that though. Capitalizing, Cody.
You buy the man a drink and he's still an asshole. Won't give you a picture.
He's like, picture him? No. We're not doing none of those. Cody, fresh off of a WWE Monday Night Raw last night, or 2 nights ago, I should say. What are your thoughts on this Ric Flair situation?
Listen,
man?
number one, let's just start here. This dude, Ric Flair, has been playing Red Rover with death the past 5 years. Okay, let's stop. He's about to be like Mickey Rourke in that movie, The Wrestler, and have a heart attack in the ring. I think that's how he wants to die. Honestly, to die in the ring doing what he loves. It doesn't make sense. We know his health has been very bad the past 5 years or so. I just don't understand why he's going to put his body through all of this and, possibly have a stroke in the ring, have a heart attack in the ring. It doesn't make sense. I saw where I think he posted something on one of the social media sites of him practicing. I think it might've been with Jay Lethal,
right? And
Charlotte Flair, his daughter, commented under there and was like, Daddy, what are you doing? Like, obviously, she doesn't even want this to happen. So, look, if your kids are telling you not to do it, don't do it.
Don't do it, Pops. Don't do it.
That's great.
I think he saw that Mike Tyson training video a couple years ago and thought, hey, I might be able to do some stuff myself.
Rick, don't do it, man. Don't do it. And Mike, we're going to you, brother. What are your thoughts on Ric Flair's in-ring return?
Well, I'm not going to talk about the man dying, since that's the trend right now. Although it's a high possibility. I don't follow wrestling closely as I used to. So I don't know what's going on with Rick and what the storyline is going to be. But I don't know if you can create a creative storyline with this situation. I mean, there's no way in my mind where I can think of a scenario where he is in a match and wrestles for more than 3 minutes and 22 seconds. And that's pushing it. You know what I mean? I'm just thinking about the man getting speared and popping a spleen. Like I don't get it. I don't get it.
The guy who says he doesn't follow wrestling, he pretty much just nailed it on the spot with that match prediction.
I was gonna say that's about the time you could pop a bag of popcorn in the microwave.
Well, that's pushing it. I'm just thinking of like some of the legends that they brought back and how quick some of those matches ended. And I'm not even talking about legends, like just even like Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, how some of those matches are like 5 minutes. You know what I mean? Like, just I don't know. I don't know where they're going with it.
Let's hope that if he does go in there, he's not going in there and trying to do a 6. We know he's the king of the 60-minute match. Please, Rick, just be careful out there, man. That's all we ask, man. I just don't know how it's gonna get. I don't know how it's gonna get done. I saw him just do an interview with Ryan Clark's podcast, and he struggled to come in the room and sit down on the couch. I don't know how this is going to happen.
Hey, man, look, what they're going to have to do is they're going to have to film this with no fans there and then just put it out on TV. Have it be like a 1-minute match, but put it in like slow-mo so it looks like it's a 7-minute match.
I can't.
All right? Because that's the only way he's lasting that long.
Yeah. You can just CGI him in there. CGI.
That's hilarious. Well, Rick, good luck in the match, man. Look. Just be careful. That's all I can say about that. Next,
like you say, boss, you're going to give him the best 3 minutes of his life, and that's going to be the end of his life.
3 minutes ever, ladies and gentlemen. All right, we swing the football. And this fire starter right here is going to be an interesting one because we see the Saints load back up. We see the Saints grabbing all these pieces. And now, after this statement was made on Twitter from Drew Brees said, despite speculation from the media about my future this fall, I'm currently undecided. I may decide to work for NBC. I may play football again. I may focus on business or philanthropy. I'm not going to try to destroy philanthropy. I may train for a pickleball tour, senior golf tour, but the coaching my kids and all of the above, I'll let you know. So with all that being said, Jameis Winston's out here thinking to himself, man, I got a squad. I'm ready. and then you hear this of your Jameis. Do you get a little bit nervous? Jay, I'm going to start with you on this one. Do you think that Drew Brees will return to the NFL?
He just had another shoulder surgery. It ain't happening. He just he's seen what Tom Brady got paid, and Tom Brady's still playing. He wants the money. He'll come back. He'll get the hair plugs redone, and he'll call football games. He will not be able to throw a football again. From the surgery I've seen, he had the labrum redone again. I mean, I give him credit coming back and doing what he did because nobody thought he could. But no, he's done. He's going to stay retired.
Yeah, don't be careful, Drew. Be careful. Statman, what are your thoughts on this bad boy, man? Like, should Drew Brees, do you think he's going to make that epic return, or this is just him, giving people something to talk about?
I think he's kind of just more of giving people to talk about. I look at it like, if he does come back, does it make sense for the Saints to sign him? Because I don't think the Saints would sign him after they signed Andy Dalton. Not that him or Jameis would be a great improvement over Drew Brees, even if Drew Brees was healthy. But then you think, I know they lost a couple pieces on their offensive line, so does he want to get hit behind that? We haven't seen Penning play yet, so don't know if he's going to be the plug stop on that. It's just I don't think it makes sense, but I'll say I wouldn't be as happy as him coming out of retirement, since we're just talking about someone else coming out of retirement. I wouldn't be as mad as him coming out of retirement as I would be against, Ric Flair or Shawn Michaels per se. But I don't think it makes sense. I really don't. I think he's done everything he needs to, except for maybe win a regular season MVP. That's the only thing. But that would just be extremely greedy and just dumb at this point to try and do.
I like that. Mike, what are your thoughts on this one, my man?
I don't think it's going to happen. I think he's just kind of stirring the pot. Now, I will tell you, if he did decide to come back, and he walked into that owner's room and asked to come back, it would be very hard for the owner to look at Drew Brees and tell him no after all that Drew Brees has done. I don't think it'd be a good idea for the team or for Drew Brees, but it would be a hard decision to make for that owner to tell Drew Brees, who's been the quarterback of your historic franchise and has taken you to all kinds of places, won you a Super Bowl, to look him in the eyes and tell him, no, I don't want you back on this team. So that in general would be tough. But it doesn't make sense for either team. I think Jameis is the better option at this point. And Drew Brees went out, the best way that he could. Obviously, he didn't go out in winning fashion, but I think that he went out respectfully, came back from the injury and played as well as you could. So I think for Drew Brees personally, I think it's just time to hang up the boots for good. And honestly, probably go to some school to do some broadcasting too. But,
All right. I'm intrigued on that, just to see where his mindset is on that one. Cody, what do you got here, my man? What are you thinking?
Drew Brees is 43 years old. He hasn't played since the end of the 2020 season. He hasn't played a full season due to injury since 2017. I mean, clearly his body was, I'm not going to say on the decline, but in football shape, it was on the decline because he couldn't stay healthy and play a full 16-game season, which they are now at 17 games. So that adds an extra one there. I feel like this was a move that, and he even came out, or either, I think it might have been Peter King, he came out and said that Drew wasn't a fan of being in the studio all the time with NBC. Like, he liked calling games. Like, I think he was calling some Notre Dame games, and I think he might have filled in for Chris Collinsworth here and there for Sunday Night Football, but he didn't like being in the studio doing that stuff. He wants to be like the Tony Romo, like the Troy Aikman, to actually call the games week in and week out. I honestly think this might be a play for him. I think he's trying to, we know Tom Brady signed that deal for Fox when he does retire, but I think Drew's trying to step in with Fox right now to be that number one guy until Tom comes in.
All right. You see, here's the thing for me. Drew, don't do it. And this is the moment I knew it was time for Drew Brees to give it up. There was a game, I think they might have been playing the Bucks, and they needed a Hail Mary, and they brought in Jameis Winston to throw the football. And I said, yeah, this has got to be it for Drew. Because, I mean, it just got to that point. It's like, you don't need to be out there if you're going to hurt yourself or you think you potentially could get hurt. And obviously, man, go out there, make that money. Somebody is going to pick up Drew Brees. You're not going to not pick up Drew Brees. He's trying to get that dough, and I ain't mad at him. All right, ladies and gentlemen, next to our next topic here on the Fire Starter, and this one, the New Jersey Giants and the New Jersey. So, all right. So earlier this week, there was an article that dropped. There's a couple of Jets/Giants fans that are upset with the organization. Did not know that, the team played in New Jersey. The only thing I have to say to that is, how can you not be idiots? How can you not be a fan of the team and not know where your team plays at? I know it was a wild thing. Russ, you seem so passionate about it. So I'm going to start with you.
Sorry, I was saving that one for this one. I saw a meme on Facebook earlier today that said a dude on the corner with one of those sign memes. To the people that are suing the Jets and the Giants to play in New Jersey, other Giants fans, we don't claim you. That is the absolute truth. I do not claim them as fellow Giants fans because, one, they didn't know that they didn't actually play in New York. And as someone who grew up in New Jersey as a Giants fan, wanting them to be New Jersey Giants, and seeing that they haven't played New Jersey they haven't played in New York since, I think, 75, when they had that one season at Shea Stadium. I got over that a long time ago, and Jesus Christ, you're right, Jay. That Ric Flair coming back is not the dumbest thing I heard all year. This is the dumbest thing I've heard all year, because this is just absolutely ridiculous. There's no reason why they should be the New Jersey Giants. And I'm not even going to mention the other team because they're whatever. But it makes absolute no sense. I would love it to be when I was a kid, but I grew up. That's all. I grew up.
All right.
Both New Jersey teams had good drafts, though.
Yeah, that's true. I will say this: when I was younger, I always thought it was the New Jersey Jets and the New York Giants. But I was like 6. It was a long time ago. Speaking of Giants fans, Cody Stewart, what are your thoughts on this scenario? I'm pretty sure it might be as passionate as Russ.
I'm kind of mad. I wore the shirt
listen, this is the funny thing about it. I understand the lawsuit or whatever based off of talking about what state they're playing in. But I mean, if we want to look at this and be equal about everything, let's go ahead and get the Los Angeles Chargers and Rams a lawsuit because they play in Inglewood, not Los Angeles. Let's get San Francisco a lawsuit because they play in Santa Clara. Let's get the Vegas Raiders a lawsuit because they play in Paradise, Nevada. The Dallas Cowboys because they play in Arlington. Let's see, Buffalo Bills because they play in Orchard Park, New York. So I'm just saying not every team plays it. Yeah, exactly. The Washington Commanders aren't even in Washington, D.C. They're in Maryland. So, but I will say this. I do want this lawsuit to go a pretty far way, and I'm going to tell you why. In 2010, the Giants built a new stadium that is absolute trash. That stadium is horrible. In 2010, you're building a stadium like that. A year later, Jerry Jones builds what he builds. Let's hope that this lawsuit gets us in New York and we get a better stadium.
Well, you can't be mad at that. I can understand that completely.
But you can't leave the Xanadu, Cody. Come on now. We can't leave the Xanadu.
If it gives us a new stadium, let's do it.
All right, Mike. Mike, what are your thoughts on the New Jersey Jets, New Jersey Giants?
I think it's dumb. I mean, obviously, Cody pointed out you have several other teams that don't play and I guess where they claim they're from or whatever. It's just all dumb. Honestly, I didn't even hear about it until it was just brought up. So I really haven't even dug into anything. But I think that's kind of crazy, kind of wild what's going on. I will tell you. I mean, it's just why would you even want nothing against Jersey people, but why would you even want your team to be New Jersey? I'm just no offense. Come on, New York Giants or New Jersey Giants. I mean, you can't even pump your own gas in Jersey. I mean, who really wants to? Man. And hey, Russ, I'm not coming at you. There's a lot of Jersey fans out there that are Eagles fans.
I'm uncomfortable.
He took his headset off.
It's all good, man.
Jay, what are your thoughts on this situation? You're good?
I'm good. I I said a quick prayer. I'm good.
While he's getting himself, I will say this: I don't know if anybody, if you're a fan of a team. One of the things in the article is said that the guy was mad because he had to travel 200 miles, I think, to get to the game. It's something crazy, but he lived in New York. I'm like, if you had to know, like you can't be a real fan of these teams if you didn't know that they actually, I mean, at our age.
That's like me wanting a Virginia team to be Hopewell instead of Richmond. Come on now.
But Darrell, to the point that you just made, what doesn't make any sense is literally you can see New York City from the Giant Stadium. So even if he's 200 miles from the stadium, if they move to New York City, he'd be 194 miles away from the stadium then? Like, come on, man.
Jay, what are your thoughts on this?
I just saw Mike Bish pull down a map of America and just take a big old shit on New Jersey.
It's nothing against New Jersey. I like New York better, though.
I like New York better, though.
With LeGarrette Blount and Greg Schiano, because right now Greg Schiano is the best thing that New Jersey's got going for it.
I'm not trying to. Look, Jersey's got good food. I stay in Jersey sometimes when I go to Philly. It's fine. Me and Cody stayed in Jersey when we went for the draft. It's fine.
But it's cheaper though in Jersey though, right?
We stayed across the bridge.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we stayed across.
Yeah, I'd much rather stay in Jersey than Philly. But anyway.
I still love you, Russ.
Russ, it's all good, my man. It's all good.
All right,
right now is going like this. Yes.
Let's move to our next topic. And then our next topic, we who you choosing, ladies and gentlemen. We got two of the star quarterbacks in the AFC, heck, in the league, and Josh Allen and Joe Burrow. So I want to know from the panel who you choosing, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow. Mike Bish, I'm starting with you, brother. Who do you have? Who are you selecting in this situation, Josh Allen or Joe Burrow?
Oh man, this is kind of tough, honestly. I think whoever came up with this either or is really it's just interesting. I mean, it all depends on what you really want. They kind of remind me of each other in a sense. I do think Josh Allen obviously is a little bit more better when it comes to being a running quarterback. So I'm going to go Josh Allen for the mere fact that he does bring that factor into it. Now, obviously these quarterbacks both have great weapons on the outside. Two great number ones. I think they're both going to have great careers. But if I had to choose, it would be Josh Allen. When it comes to their throwing, I think they're pretty much equal, in my opinion. And I'll take Josh Allen for the running ability. I think he's smart with it. Sometimes he does want to be a tough guy and run over people. He can't continue to do that. But if he can get down more and protect his body, I'm going to have to take Josh Allen for that mere factor. Because that's huge. That's huge when it comes to picking up a 3rd and 4 or even a 3rd and 8. And nobody's doing a QB spy. So I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
All right. Bish is going with Josh Allen. Cody, where do you go on this one?
I mean, I don't think this is necessarily hard as far as right now. Don't get me wrong. Joe Burrow had a hell of a year last year. His second year, he makes it to the Super Bowl. I totally get that. But I don't know. Josh Allen just the improvement that Josh Allen has had since he got into the league. And let's look at it from this standpoint as well. Joe Burrow was the number 1 overall pick. Like, everybody expected him to immediately come in and do work. Josh Allen, while he was the 7th overall pick in the 2017 or 2018 draft, people did not know where he was going to go. Some thought that he might go into the late first, mid first. Buffalo ended up taking him. Josh Allen has improved so much, and in my opinion, he is a top 3 or 4 quarterback in the league right now. I have Joe Burrow right outside of the top 5. So I'm going with Josh Allen over Joe Burrow right now.
All right. So, all right, Jay, we head to you next, my man. Who you choosing?
I mean,
Allen or Burrow?
I agree with Bish on this because the sample size for Burrow is small, and he is number 1 overall pick. But Allen, for me, just made got me something right, because I said Josh Allen would be a great quarterback in this league, and a certain person like come at me really hard, said he has never thrown for over 300 yards, he can't do this, and I'm pretty sure that next season he went like 5 or 6 games in a row throwing for 300 yards plus, and he should be in the MVP talk. I mean, easily for what he does. But, you know, if they get him a running game, we could see the Bills versus the Bengals. AFC Championship game. So I love Allen.
All right, we swing into Russ here. Russ, who do you have on this one, Burrow or Allen?
Sorry. I'm gonna need like an extra 20 seconds. But I'm gonna say Allen, but not for the reasons everyone else is saying. I think we're missing two very key elements that no one else mentioned. I'm taking Allen not only because of his running ability. I'm taking Allen also because when you are putting two quarterbacks against each other, they're never actually on the field at the same time. So I'm taking Allen because of his supporting cast. His line is better. We haven't seen the improvements for Cincinnati play with him yet, so we don't know if they're going to gel better. And Buffalo has a way better defense than Cincinnati too. So I'm taking Allen because of his help that he has, not just because of his own play itself, but because of the help that he has.
All right. I will say this. I look at it and say that
and also I love you, New Jersey.
Jay, you know how I feel about Josh Allen. I've been screaming about Josh Allen since before, the year before.
I'm just glad you didn't jinx him the way you did Blake Bortles.
I didn't give him the Bortles curse, so we should be good there. But it's something about Joe. I'm still going with Allen, but there's something about Joe Burrow, man. He just got this swag, it factor that he has is just amazing. And I think that Bengals team is not a one-year wonder. Like a lot of people are thinking it's not going to be the same, whatever. I think they will be a better team. Will they make it back to the Super Bowl next year? I'm not going to give them that just yet because the AFC is a.
What the hell were they thinking bringing Eli Apple back?
Trash.
You can't get them all. You can't get them all right, Jay.
A Packer.
They should have signed James Bradbury. That's who they should have signed.
You know what?
Can we stop talking about James Bradbury?
They should have signed James Bradbury. All right, everybody, that is it for the fire starters here, and now it's time for the main. I'm sorry. The main flame, and we're talking about the 2022 NFL schedule release. We got our top 3 games. Now, before I give you ours, I'm going to go through and give you some of the guys on the network because we got our man Rob Johnson here. Rob Johnson, look at this one. And first of all, let's give a shout out to our man Russ Taliaferro with the graphics. Whoop, whoop. Jersey born. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Don't try and kiss up to me now. Y'all was laughing. I heard you.
Look, I married someone from Jersey, so let's not do that. You know where
you were still laughing. Don't make me call you now.
I stay in Jersey.
I'm gonna get beat up later tonight because of this, but that's okay.
I hope you do.
Right, let's look at Rob's game. Rob, you got the Rams and the Broncos. That should be a really interesting Week 16 matchup. Then you got the Washington football team taking on Philadelphia as Wentz returns to Philly. Should be a fun one right there. Mike, you not happen to go up to that game? I know you put a list out of games you're going to. Is that one of them?
It wasn't on my list.
The list.
Wentz, I got a lot of love for Wentz, to be honest with you. I mean, despite what happened, he contributed to the season of winning the Super Bowl. So for everybody that did that, I always have love for him, unlike Ben Simmons. So.
You did name your dog after him, correct?
I did.
You did.
I will say this. When you go to the Commanders, no offense, but you're on your last leg. It's a big year for him. I'm serious. It's a big year for him to prove that he could be a starter in this league.
It is. It is a huge. I don't think he had a bad last year, but we'll get into that a little bit later. Then you got number 3. He's got the Chiefs and the Cardinals, which Mahomes versus Murray, and that's in Week 1. That should be a really fun Week 1 matchup. So everybody get your popcorn ready. Now we go to our man Ty Montgomery, and Ty's got Week 2 Bucks and Saints as his number 1. And I like this one, Russ. Brady is still here. Then you got week 8. You got the Browns and the Bengals Monday Night Football. Watson potentially, if he is not already suspended or unsuspended, this could be the time he comes back. We'll see how that goes there. And then that third one, they got the Chiefs and the Broncos, which that's going to be a fun Sunday night one in week 14. Then we got our man James Brown, also one of our guys here on the network, does a lot of good stuff. We'll be on Legacy on 5 next week. You got now. See, I almost picked this one myself. He's got Russ returning to Seattle as the Broncos take on the Seahawks. He's got the Packers and the Bills, the old gunslinger versus the new gunslinger, like that, Russ. And then Rams and Chiefs. So a lot of people thought we might have got that Super Bowl matchup, and we didn't. So that's a good one right there. Then our man Lamont Thomas. Lamont got the week 1 matchup of the Rams and the Bills. Then he's got the Titans and the Chargers. And then he's got the Packers and the Rams, which I almost picked that one too. But I just, I'm trying. I was trying not to be too biased, but I think I ended up picking the Packers. Anyway, let's go to Drew. Drew's got the Rams and the Bills in week 1, and he's got the Packers and the Bills in week 8, and then he's got the Bengals and the Bills in week 17. So if you got a little theme there, he might be switching over to Bills Mafia. I'm just throwing it out there. Now let's go to our group. Now let's go here. And so, Cody, I'm going to go with you first because I got your graphic up here first. Here we go, Cody. Breakdown.
All right. So at my third game of the year, top game, I got the Chiefs at the Broncos. This is the first meeting of the year, week 14. Feel like that's a little late to have these two teams meeting, but I mean, that just means we get 2 games against these two very late in the season. I really feel like the division very well could come down to these 2 teams. I mean, you got Russell Wilson coming over to the Broncos. Broncos, they've won about 7-8 games a season the past few years, but they haven't had consistent quarterback play. Bringing in Russell Wilson definitely will get them there. And then, of course, you have the Chiefs, the team that's been the cream of the crop in that AFC West for the past few years. I just think that's going to be a dynamite matchup in week 14 on Sunday Night Football. Moving to the second game that I have, we have the Packers at the Bucks week 3. We don't know what's going to go on with Tom Brady. We know he retired for, 12 seconds and then he came back. This could be his very last year. We don't know. So if it is, this could be the final matchup that we get to see with Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. And then my first game, my number 1 overall game in the 2022 NFL season is the first game of the year, the Buffalo Bills at the Los Angeles Rams. I mean, my early prediction, I have Bills versus Rams in the Super Bowl. I really do feel like this is going to be a Super Bowl preview. 2 high-powered offenses going at it, 2 great defenses going at it. You have Von Miller, who was with the Los Angeles Rams last year and helped them win a Super Bowl. He goes to Buffalo on a 6-year, $120 million deal, so he's going to be able to go back against the Los Angeles Rams and actually get after Matt Stafford, not just in practice, but in a real game. So those are my top 3 matchups. I can't wait for the season to start.
Oh, man, you ain't the only one. Next, we go to our man, Mike Bish. Mike, what do you got here, brother?
So I'll start off with number 3 as well. You got the Broncos and the Rams. I really think this is going to be a really good matchup. Pretty late in the season as well, but I think, man, I think that the Broncos are going to be really good this year. Obviously, the big key that they were missing in everybody's eyes was a quarterback, and you have Russell Wilson coming over here. And then obviously you have Bobby Wagner with the Rams now, those two going up against each other. Obviously we talk about the quarterback matchups, but I think, Russ alluded to it earlier when we were talking about Josh Allen. You don't really get to see the quarterbacks on the same field at the same time. So yes, they go up against each other in a sense, but we actually get to see Wilson and Wagner on the field at the exact same time. So really looking forward to that and really looking forward to see what Russell can do coming into Denver. And number 2, a lot of people are high on the Chargers this year. It's a Thursday night football game going into Arrowhead. Obviously, you have Herbert up against Mahomes, and the Chargers were really a mistake away from making the playoffs last year. Having a tie in that game and making the playoffs. But I think they're going to be good this year. I think Herbert's going to take that extra step. We don't know what the Chiefs are going to be without Tyreek Hill. I don't think they're going to struggle as much as some people think they will. I think Patrick Mahomes will step up to the plate and deliver a great season. But I think that this would be a high-powered, high-scoring game. in week 2. And then my number 1, for all the reasons that Cody said, I think that this is my early Super Bowl prediction as well. I just like the Bills a lot this year. You know, I have them actually as my Super Bowl champions. Spoiler alert. I just think they're very well rounded. I also believe that Josh Allen is going to be even better than he was last year. I mean, you know, because of overtime rules, we didn't actually get to see him get on the field and possibly compete to win that game last year. So we'll be interested to see this game. Like I said, I think it's going to be a Super Bowl preview. And yeah, those are my top 3 games for the season.
Next, we go to Statman. Your top 3 games heading into the 2022 season.
Number 3, New Jersey's great. Number 2, New Jersey's awesome. And number 1, New Jersey's great. But number 3, I felt like I would be committing a crime if I didn't at least put the Bills and the Rams on my list. Possible Super Bowl preview. I think that's an easy pick for everybody just because of the matchups there. Bills are spending money to get Von Miller, which I think was a smart move to a defense that was already number 1. If anything, they just need to shore up their pass defense a little bit. But their run defense was number 1 in the league. That defense is the only one to average less than 300 yards a game. So it gets even better with Von Miller coming there. Broncos and Chiefs late in the year. I would have picked the Week 14 matchup, but I want to pick the Week 17 matchup because I think Arrowhead's going to be a little bit louder, and I think this game's going to matter a little bit more. And the number 1 team was kind of easy. Another late AFC West matchup, just with the improvements that these teams have put against each other. Because San Diego's got their new, better defensive secondary, and the Raiders got, the best wide receiver in the league for literally only 2 picks from Green Bay. Like that, and then not to mention they still have all the other weapons: Hunter Renfrow, Josh Jacobs, Derek Carr, and Justin Herbert on his side, Keenan Allen, Mike Williams, Austin Eckler. Just that matchup to me, it should be primetime. I don't know how it's not a Sunday night or a Monday night or a Thursday night matchup. I really don't know how it's just a regular 4:30 in the afternoon matchup. But I think you really should take the time to sit out and find this.
All right. Jay, we swing to you next, sir. Give us your top 3 games.
All right. Well, number 3, I've got Russ going to Seattle. Interesting thing with Russ now being in Denver is if he beats Seattle and he beats the Chargers in one of these 2 games this year, he will be the 5th quarterback to beat every team in the league. So, and then number 2 speaks just because of the gunslingers you got in there. We'll get to, it's the middle of the year, so we'll kind of know what type of offense, Aaron will have. And hopefully that defense will be just as good as what it was last year. There's part of me that wants to pick this as my Super Bowl matchup because,
I'll do it.
Like everybody else, I've got this thing for the Bills. And then, Week 6, this is a redo of last year's championship game. In my mind, is what it should have been. I mean, they definitely, I don't know. Have they fixed overtime rules completely? I guess we'll find out. But I really think that, this passing offense has made football just better, but more explosive, if that makes sense. You're one throw away from, changing the tide of an entire game.
All right. And I guess I'll finish this bad boy up here. So this is what I have here. I got Bucks and Packers as my number 3. This is the 5th time they faced each other, but, we don't know how many more times we're going to get this matchup. So, yes, Brett, Lord Jesus. We know that Aaron did sign his contract, so he's going to be definitely a couple more years. We don't know if this is Brady's last year for sure. He's heading to the booth. This may be the last time, unless they made the playoffs, that we see these 2 on the field. It'll be in Tampa Bay. The Battle of the Bays is always a good one. You got 2 of the best quarterbacks all time going against each other. Why not? Now, see, Russ, I almost picked this number 1, but I'm glad you picked the number 1. I went with number 2, but I'm going to tell you why I think this matchup is going to steal the show. Since 2019, these two have went back and forth, back and forth. I think the record is 4-2 in this situation. But back in 2019, Oakland won 26-24, and then Oakland beat the Chargers 24-17. Then Vegas beat them 31-26, and then it was the Chargers winning 30-27. And then the Chargers last year, I think they won 28-14. And then there was a 35-32 overtime game last year at the end of the season. With all the firepower these two teams have added in the offseason, I feel like this is just going to be this one's just going to be crazy. I would have picked the week 1 matchup, and it could be the week 1 matchup. But like Russ said with his, it's an AFC West matchup later in the season, and I expect fireworks in this one. It's gonna be crazy out there in Vegas. Or what was it? What county was it, y'all? What county?
Paradise, Nevada.
Paradise, Nevada. And then of course, number 1, Bills and Rams. I mean, for me, yes. For me, it's mostly yes. It could be a Super Bowl preview. I love the Bills. The way the Rams have found a way to find money and continue to sign people. I don't know where they're getting it from. I don't know where they're getting the magic, but they're making it happen. And we're just going to be so excited for football to be back. I think that's why it's going to be one of the most hyped games of the year. All right, so there it is, ladies and gentlemen. That is the main topic. And I don't know, fellas. I know y'all are excited about football, and we're only subtract 3. We're probably like 180 days
Too
away.
far away.
Way too far away from the season. But once again, it's going to be so much fun when the time comes. All right, now. You know what time it is. It is time.
Fire, 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 burn. Fire, 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 burn. Fire, 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 legacy on fire.
I love the fact that Jay always covers his ears.
That was fire.
Dude, no, you have no idea because when we
It's
were
a long
in the studio,
story. I scared him one day.
and he had the soundboard turned up so loud, my fucking ears were bleeding.
I tried to take him out by accident. I felt really bad about it. So he's got like
as he's giggling, he felt so bad.
I did, man. I did. All right, so let's go ahead and get this party started. We're gonna start off, of course, with the newest member of the Legacy Makers Sports Network, Mr. Mike Bish. Sir, it is time for you to put out the fire.
I'm actually gonna let somebody else go.
You gonna let somebody else go? You want somebody else to go?
Yeah, I just want to see how the format, what it is like. So,
all right,
you
know what? I tell you what, we will let somebody else go. You know what, Mike? Since you knew, I'm gonna let you pick who you want to go next. Mine is me, obviously. I'm
obviously not the guy from Jersey. I'm gonna go with Jay.
He's right.
Just
right.
All right. Let me just say this before we get started. I have a lot of friends from Jersey, and I love Jersey. I'm just giving Russ a hard time.
Disclaimer.
I try to let it go and act like I actually got a lot of love for Jersey.
A lot of friends minus
Jersey.
1.
So you won't go buy me? You won't go buy me alcohol tomorrow?
Oh shit!
Oh hell no! I'm telling your mama.
I'm telling you.
Actually, no. I'm telling your daddy. Oh, no, I'm gonna get arrested.
I'm gonna get arrested.
Russ, you're saying too much. You're saying too much.
So put out this fire. Underage drinking is not a good thing. You should never provide alcohol to people that can't.
Nobody knows what you're talking about.
I feel like you were possibly the poster boy for that.
You know what? All right. So let's do it this way. Mike's not gonna put out the fire. Jay, go ahead and put out the fire, sir. Oh, God.
I just, right now, I guess the thing that's getting me is Nick Saban. He needs to retire. He's going to turn to dust before he retires. And I guess the thing that I finally drew a little bit of respect for him, because I never really cared for him as a football coach until I started doing some research on him. And, I forgot that he was the Michigan State Spartans head coach for a while. And since they're the other team up there in that shitty state, I kind of have a little respect. So I hope if he leaves Alabama, he goes back there just so there can be 2 teams in the Big Ten. That what Michigan's asked.
Okay. All right, Jay. Thank you for putting out the fire. Cody, we're gonna go with you next. You go ahead and put out the fire.
So my put out the fire, it's not sports related. I'm not getting political. I absolutely hate politics, but I do want to say this. We got to stop the hate, man. We got to stop the hate. Everything that happened in Buffalo this past weekend with the shooting, it's sickening, man. Especially me having 2 kids under the age of 6, and I mean, this almost seeming like this is going to be their norm as they continue to get older. Just always hearing about these mass shootings happening all over the U.S., which seems like every other week. We got to come together. We have to stop the hate. It does not matter what your hair color is, what your skin color is, you know, how tall you are, how big you are. What none of that matters. We're all the same person. All right, we're all humans. We got to stop this hate, man. I'm tired of it.
All right, thank you, Cody. Appreciate that. You know what?
Actually, wait. I want to redo on mine.
You want to redo
because
on
I
yours?
agree with Cody because No, because my brother and I got into a huge thing about this because, you know, me and my wife love to travel to Disney. And, you know, the Republican governor down there attacked Disney. And my brother went on at me for like 40 minutes about liberals this and liberals that shit. And I just kind of just said, dude, can you just shut up? What happened to back when you used to be able to look at a person and they were a good human being? It didn't matter by what color they were or who they voted for in their last election. It's just on whether they were a good person or not. We're so fucking divided. It's sad. I have so many friends of different creeds, colors, size. I don't care. You're a good person. I love you, and I will give you everything I got, including the shirt off my back.
Yeah, I need $5.
You know,
but hey, I still need that
about
gift card for
350.
that cleaning.
Gotcha.
All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and put out the fire here. All right, so my put out the fire has to do with, and it is political, but it is sports related at the same time. Brittany Griner situation. This thing is absolutely crazy. So, you know, the more you look at it, yes, she I guess in Russia she broke a law or whatnot. You know, it just seems more political to me than it actually feels. I feel like, you know, the United States has had Ukraine's side, and they're taking it out on one of the star athletes in our country. Now, what I don't like in the United States part is we took too long, and the NBA. I feel like I know the NBA really can't do it so much in diplomacy, but I feel like our country has taken way too long to get one of our star athletes or just one of our American citizens. This is so high profile. Go get Brittany and get her home. Because somebody got to come back and stop Skylar Diggins for beating up Deanna Taurasi last night. That's all I'm saying. And I love Skylar Diggins, but we got to get the chemistry back on the Mercury because the way things are going right now, I thought she was going to swing on her last night, and I was like, oh, you know, don't do it. But yeah, on the side, let's get Brittany Griner home, man. And I know they're making it a theme around, and people are putting their name on the thing, but let's get her home. All right, Russ, your turn to put out the fire sign.
I'm going to use my time to do 2 things. My main one, I literally just thought of while we were doing the show. But my first one, I want to give a shout out to U.S. women's soccer team for winning their case for equal pay. I think that's a huge thing that we aren't talking about a lot. I personally care about our women's soccer team way more than the men's soccer team because they haven't been a disgrace over the last couple of years with how horrible it's been.
Agreed.
And then my second thing should be no surprise to everybody because I took the time during the last couple segments to write out a list of some people from the great state of New Jersey.
Oh my God!
I'm going through their list real quick. The first one is Frank Sinatra. Pay your respects. Meryl Streep, John Travolta, Joe Pesci. Stop me when I'm not naming someone who's awesome. Mike Trout. Abbott and Costello, Buzz Aldrin, David Tyree. Thank you. He was born and raised in Jersey. That's what happens. The one who caught the 2 Super Bowls before you guys were there.
Whoa!
Bon Jovi. Yeah, I'm firing shotgun shells at this point. Danny DeVito, Peter Dinklage. Yeah, pay your respects.
Game of Thrones, baby.
Yeah, all day, baby.
All of the
Why is everybody
Fugees.
getting wait, your list is getting shorter.
Hilarious.
I'll deal with that later.
mean,
Kevin Smith, Whitney Houston, James Gandolfini, the boss Bruce Springsteen, the Jonas Brothers, Shaquille O'Neal, Jack Nicholson, Michael Douglas.
Wait. Really? The Jonas?
Yeah, Jack Nicholson was.
Okay,
Are they the Jersey?
Go ahead.
Are they the Jersey Shore? So no, they're not. So they're representing Jersey in a good way. That's all I'll say.
Jesus Christ.
Michael Douglas, Queen Latifah, Ice-T, George R.R. Martin, Dennis Rodman, Derek Jeter, the captain. Pay your respects.
Go.
Paul Rudd, Zoe Saldana, Patrick Warburton, Fetty Wap, Jerry Lewis.
Did you come up with all this off the top of your head?
Who was writing that?
I look at this list, bro. I am not joking. I wrote this whole list over the last half hour, bro. I'm not lying.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
Bobby Cannavale. I can't remember her name, but Howard's girlfriend for The Big Bang Theory. Grover Cleveland. I don't care about it.
Dude that got his
Russ,
toe stuck in
Russ,
the-
My Chemical Romance.
Russ.
Russ.
Let me throw something out there, okay? I love people from Jersey. My favorite horror movie back there.
Trash.
Anyways, Haddonfield, New Jersey, Haddonfield, Illinois. That's where it was originated from. I don't hate New Jersey. I promise. I stay in New Jersey more than I stay in Philly.
It's
promise.
okay. It's okay. I'm just educating everyone on the greatness that has come from New Jersey. It's okay. It's okay.
Thank you,
Oh,
Russ.
I gotta
definitely appreciate it. I was about to say, where did that come from? All right, Mike. Now that you've had a chance, it is your turn, sir, to put out the fire.
Fuck!
Oh, man. Well, I feel like everybody had serious topics, and now I'm just gonna feel like an asshole.
No, man, bring it, man. It's your topic, baby.
Mine's not all that serious, but I wanna come at two people right now, and they happen to be a part of the Legacy Maker Sports Network.
Oh, here we go.
That's gonna be Mr. Rob Johnson, and unfortunately, in this situation, Mr. Ty Montgomery.
Oh no!
Please tell me why you think it is absolutely okay to trade Joel effing Embiid. I need an answer. Ty Montgomery is the one I really have a problem with because he's a Sixers fan, and this man wants to blow it up and relive the process. I lived through the process, and I wanted to run in front of the bus that ran through downtown Richmond every day. It sucked. I don't want to go through that again. At least I know we can make the playoffs with Joel Embiid. I don't understand why you trade Joel Embiid. Like, you can win with a big man in this league. I mean, it just frustrates me because, like, to my core, especially from Ty, because he's a Sixers fan and he wants to blow everything up and have the number 2 pick in the draft for the next 15 years again. It makes no sense, and it makes me sick to my stomach. Let go of James Harden, okay? Let Tyrese Maxey come in, bring in Bradley Beal, and let it be, okay? All you need is a shooter, a dominant shooter.
Guy who can actually shoot the basketball.
Tobias Harris over me?
Hey, Jimmy,
To be honest, if we're being honest, Jimmy did not want to stay in Philly. He wanted to go to Miami the entire time, and I don't blame him.
He didn't, but that don't mean he ain't wrong, though. Tobias Harris over him?
I will say I did catch Rob on In and Out when they were talking about the big man winning championships. You don't need a dominant big man to win a championship, in my opinion. But you can win a championship with a dominant big man. That's all I'm going to say.
Look at Golden State. They never had any inside presence.
I mean, then I can remember. I mean, JaVale McGee. JaVale McGee was the inside presence. I mean,
no, don't you do that when he was the only MVP of Shaq and the Fool at that time.
No,
like the centers these days are different as well too. Like Joel Embiid is hitting turnaround 3-pointers.
This is also true
on like a 46% rate or 30, whatever. It's high, higher than what it should be for a guy that's 7 foot. I just think it's crazy. Obviously we need to make some changes. I can't I just can't figure out why you would trade Joel Embiid, and like I just don't get that.
I absolutely agree with Bish on this one because I've seen a couple of the things where people, they throw trades out there and they're talking about us sending Colin Sexton and 2 first-round picks to get Beal. Why do we got enough damn shooters? We don't need another one.
And that's the way I feel, Jay. Like, yeah, okay, you're gonna trade Embiid, but what are you gonna get in return? A Bradley Beal who can't win on his own. Obviously, his situation is a lot worse. But I mean, who are you gonna bring in? Dame? Dame's gonna need somebody else as well. And Tyrese Maxey is just a little too young right now to be that second guy. I think he can be a great third person and will work his way into a second, maybe even first down the line. But right now, it's you got Joel Embiid for like the next 4 or 5 years. I mean, I think you should take advantage of it while you can.
He should be the last person you guys should trade.
The draft is not exactly what it used to be because you used to be able to get, your first 3 picks you knew were going to be something. And now you don't know because, look, the Suns are talking about sending, Drake, away.
Aiden.
And bringing somebody else in to help Chris Paul win a championship. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and I mean, it just don't make sense to me.
Yeah, it's just
give us all the first round picks that are worth bubble gum and Cheerios.
It's been hard for the big man lately. So I mean, can it happen? Obviously, yeah, it could happen. But somebody's gonna have to break that mold. I mean, it's just like I think they said the last time a guard won the defensive the last time a guard had won the defensive player of the year was Peyton until this year. So it's like somebody's got to be the break the mold.
And I agree. I don't. It takes a lot more outside of LeBron. One person can't carry a franchise. You're going to have somebody step up. And look, I thought Tobias Harris had a really good playoff run this year.
He's trash.
He didn't have a max contract playoff type year. You know what I mean? He's not living up to that max contract. And if Embiid had somebody like a Clay or like a Steph, somebody else that could live up to that max contract, I think the Sixers would have had a great shot at beating the Heat. I don't know if they would have because the Heat are so deep, but they would have had a better shot to beat them.
Question for you, Mike.
What's up?
I know you said you do think you guys need to make changes. Do you think? Shut up. Do you think Doc Rivers is one of those changes you need to make?
Man, that's tough too, man. And I'll tell you this, Doc. I'm good with Doc staying another year, and the reason I say this is because obviously Doc has his flaws, and it gets brought up all the time, especially about the 3-1 series leads that he has lost in the past. But there comes a point where your players have to step up. It's not Doc Rivers' fault that James Harden chose to take 2 shots.
James Harden,
you know what I mean? and you can't sit here and tell me James Harden is not the same person he used to be, because I've seen it. I saw it when his first few games when he came to Philly. I guess he wanted to prove people wrong, and then this one game in the playoffs, he can do it if he wants to.
He just don't want to.
It's all those strip club chicken wings at 2 a.m. You know what I mean? That extra spicy ranch.
Look, my whole thing about Harden is this. Ever since that 2017, I think it's 2017-2016 playoff game against the San Antonio Spurs, when they needed him the most to come through, this man scored 8 points. You were the league MVP, and you scored 8 points. I haven't been a Harden fan since that moment, because ever since that moment, there was a couple of playoff games where he did well, but every time it's a clutch game and they need him, he just
and look, it's hard for me to say that the trade was a bust, because unfortunately 2 shots was a lot more than what we were getting out of Ben Simmons. But I'm just being honest with you. 4 points, 2 points. He shows up on the bus. We're getting a lot more than we got for Ben Simmons. So we got some production for Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons had to get out of there. The only thing that scares me is giving James a max contract. You know what I mean? I'd give him like 5 years, 140, 130, but I'm not giving him 200 plus mil. Like, that's just not going to happen.
Don't do it, man.
Don't have to do it with Tobias Harris, so
because I'll tell you what, that man is a facilitate. Like, I've seen, he can facilitate the ball like no other. He's a great passer, but to be honest with you, I'm not giving somebody a max contract just because he can pass the ball nicely.
Man, you're not happy.
Still can't play defense.
True, exactly.
Now, before we get out of here, because that is it, ladies and gentlemen. That is it here on Legacy on Fire. This is episode 29. Two comments I want to bring up because I thought it was funny. Our man Drew Willingham, the list is better than Jericho's on Russ. The list was better than Jericho's. And then Rob said, I love Jersey. So just to let you know that real quick. But anyway,
I'm gonna tell you, hold on. I gotta say one more thing. If Rob, if you're listening, bro, stop giving all this hype to the Eagles. Because year after year, you said the Eagles are winning the division, they're gonna win the Super Bowl, they're gonna make it far, and then we don't. Can you stop? That's all I want you to do is just stop.
Rob, keep doing what you're doing. That's all I'm saying.
Like, say. I'll tell you what. This. Never mind. I'm not gonna say it.
Don't do it.
No. Don't do it. Don't tell Rob not to be himself.
No. This has nothing to do with Rob. It had to do with the Giants, but I'm not gonna say it.
Whoa.
No, because Dante Taylor's girlfriend is still their cheerleader.
I'll tell you what. No. I'm gonna say it. I don't really fear the Giants, but I actually would shake a little bit in my boots if they started Tyrod Taylor. But that's just me.
I mean, that's not even that hurtful. I'll be honest. I don't fear either at all.
You're just
like, come on, we know that already. I don't fear Daniel Jones. I just like calling him Danny Dimes.
Oh, that's great. All right, everybody. That is it.
Until he trips at the half-yard line.
I'm just saying, if y'all start Tyrod, then I'm just, oh man, nah, don't do that.
I'm just saying, we can go from a quarterback that could run for 50 yards and then trip on his own goddamn shoelace, or we can get a quarterback that'll run all the way into the end zone.
First off, I know that's embarrassing, but that was against us, and that was embarrassing for us.
All right,
I laughed my ass off.
Episode 29 here, Legacy on Fire. Before we get out of here, I want everybody.
It was the gopher from Caddyshack.
Jay, is there anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother? Jay?
No, just everybody be kind because you never know what somebody else is going through, and God bless.
All right, Stat Man, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Anything that's not New Jersey related, because I love you, New Jersey. I love New Jersey. And also, don't forget, I fucking love New Jersey.
All right, there it is from Statman. Cody, anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Bro, I'm sick of overtime hockey, man. Rangers gave up a goal with 2 minutes left. Now we're going to fucking overtime. All right, that's all I got to say.
Go Devils. Go Devils.
Mike, anything you want to say before we get out of here, brother?
Yeah, man. Book it now. Bryce Harper, back-to-back years NL MVP. Book it.
Still under 500 on the season. Anyway.
Oh, I'm about to say, how do we go through this without talking about the Yankees?
It's all I can look forward to is MVPs, okay? Let me live.
Not for Joel Embiid.
And who gives a shit about the Yankees? Hey, do the Yankees play in New York?
Aren't the Guardians a AAA team?
Oh,
yo, I gotta go, Russ. That was rude.
I'm rooting for the Mariners now.
Oh man, hey man, we ain't got to get into that. Okay, we're not gonna make the playoffs again this year. I hate when we get expectations. I hate it. I think
we just created a new segment for the show called Shots Fired.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for tuning in. Make sure you check out all our shows. We got Monster Minutes happening every weekend here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. A couple of weeks from now, Becca and Jay will be heading down to Charlotte to take things down, baby.
Okay.
Yeah. So congratulations to Becca and Jay as they rode down to Charlotte to make things happen on Monster Minutes. Also, make sure y'all check out In and Out coming out on Mondays and Tuesdays here on the Legacy Maker Sports Network. On Wednesdays, we got the 3-Putt Golf Show with our man Victor Herrera. If you need to get your insight into golf, make sure you check out Victor. And of course, you can't forget about our girl Justice Miller. She's got In the Spotlight. That's her interview segment show. So she's just starting that out. Commonwealth Sports Talk is coming back next month, so be on the lookout for that. And hopefully next month, One-on-One will return as well as the Legacy Maker Sports Podcast. We're working on all that. Once again, everybody, thank you all for tuning in. This has been another wonderful episode of Legacy on Fire. We will be back again next day to bring you more heat. Once again, everybody, thank y'all all for tuning in. I'm your man, Darrell Owens. Until next time.
Garden State.